continue.
They lived in Idaho Falls for a year, and this evening the Crawford family is back home in Louisiana, 2 years after Hurricane Katrina ravaged the Gulf Coast.
The displaced family was brought to Idaho Falls by Melaleuca President Frank VanderSloot. Newswatch 3's Rick Montañez caught up with both families today.
Nate, the Crawfords and the VanderSloots met at a makeshift shelter in New Orleans 2 years ago, and Frank VanderSloot knew this was a family that he needed to take in.
Hardship is hard, but facing hardship seems to be a unifying thing when people do it together.
And for a year after Hurricane Katrina, the VanderSloots and Crawfords became one family.
It turned out to be the most wonderful blessing for our family. They became part of our family.
In 2005, VanderSloot was in New Orleans giving help to people displaced by Katrina. In a church that later became a shelter, Crawford and VanderSloot crossed paths.
But you didn't have no clue, no idea. You just know that you couldn't go back to New Orleans.
So VanderSloot told the Crawfords to come to Idaho Falls.
Well, do you want to come home with us to Idaho?
And what did they say to that?
He said, Idaho. Where's Idaho?
But Crawford needed some time to think about the offer.
So I called Mr. Frank back and asked him, do the offer still stand? And he said, sure. He'll have his son come give him about an hour.
After living in Idaho Falls and becoming part of the community, the Crawfords knew it was time to go home.
It's good to be back, 2 years. I mean, basically though, some areas seem like it made a change. Some areas seem like ain't nobody touched it.
Crawford also tells me he did all the rebuilding on his home by himself, and his family should be able to move out of their FEMA trailer and back into their house next week, so let's keep our fingers crossed. For Newswatch 3, I'm Rick Montañez. We'll be right back.